Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
Be with everybody in 1 second here.
Sure.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you might be. We have people in all kinds of time zones today.
From London, UK.
Nice to see people on. We had a change of time on the request of Dr. Mark. So let me just see if I can get us streaming in. I'm just trying to get us to stream live on. We should be going there live now. I think we're streaming live. Great, super, super. And did you see Dr. Mark on the call yet?
I haven't seen him yet. Hopefully he'll speak up when he pops on.
Certainly, certainly. Okay, we're a little bit early here, but welcome everyone. Happy New Year. Happy 2021. I'm absolutely 100% positive there's probably not too many of us on this call that are sad to see 2020 go away. And I hope that all of us have a better year. I hope if we had a great year in 2020, then bravo, that's awesome. Let's use 2020 as a building block to continue to build. And I'm really excited about our first call of the year with the Ask the Doc call, which is going to be wonderful, I'm sure, as always. And just to remind everybody of our Ignite Summit coming up on January 22nd and 23rd. The tickets just went on sale at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I know in the first 40 minutes, there was 105 tickets sold in the first 40 minutes. So if you want to see some phenomenal speakers, get some amazing training, we have a whole new group of trainers for this one being our second summit. We have some new leaders stepping up that have jumped out of their comfort zone, have worked hard to prepare some training so that they can offer you, the field, you teammates, you missionaries, some awesome, awesome training to take your business and help move the needle on this mission of helping 1 billion people. So we're very, very grateful for that. We're very, very grateful for those of you that have already got tickets. And as I say, it will sell out, and it's going to be a very exciting event. I know that those that were on the first event certainly saw the amazing value in it. And I know that our fearless leader, Jay Dhaliwal, our inventor, our CEO, was very, very proud and grateful for those of Vox Life leaders that stepped up and prepared trainings and so on. And it was a completely 100% associate run event, which is awesome. And corporate stepped up and gave away over $10,000 in product draws. So corporate will be doing the same thing again, but we have a great host of new leaders stepping up training. And you'll see on the Team Voxination page that lineup as being promoted on our page as we speak right now. Krista Taylor has done an amazing job at promoting the speakers, and we have an exciting lineup of speakers coming forward for this next event. So grateful to have everybody on the call. This is our first Ask the Doc call of the year. They will be recorded. We are streaming live on our Vox Life Testimonials group as well. And this will also, the recording will be put into the Units tab on the Team Voxination Facebook group. And it will also be broken down as our dear teammate, Nikki Cheatham, does such a wonderful job at breaking the questions out and segments of the YouTube conversion video for all of us to just pull out segments. So bravo and thank you, Nikki, for that. We sure appreciate that. And I'm grateful to have my co-host here with me today, the wonderful Angela Corns. I'm sure you all know Angela, or have heard her speak at the original summit. I'm sure you have seen or watched a recording or watched her live on our trainings. And Angela has been with us for almost 4 years now with Vox Life, and is a tremendous leader. And I'm grateful to have her as our co-host, and she does a great job with that. So welcome, Angela. I see Dr. Mark on the call.
Dr. Mark is here. And Terry, I don't think we're live in the testimonials.
We're not, eh? Let me just see.
So there's a couple people saying it's not showing up, and I looked for it as well and I didn't see. So Happy New Year, everyone. This is such a great way to start the new year in learning from the amazing Dr. Mark DeBrincat and his just simplistic ways of explaining this technology that gets really, really complicated if we allow it to. So Dr. Mark, we're so happy that you do this for us and for the field, and just break it all down into plain man's terms for us that don't have doctor degrees. So we appreciate that very much from you and everything that you do for us.
Thank you, and Happy New Year to everybody.
How are we looking in testimonials, Terry?
It says, I'm just going to live stream again. I tried to re-live stream it again.
Technology's great, isn't it?
It's saying, choose how you want to start setting up your live video stream key. I'm sure.
So thank you to everyone that submitted questions for Dr. Mark. It's really fascinating, the questions that I get, and some are really, really complex and some are extremely simple. But there's no stupid question. And I reply to some that come directly, but it's always great to get Dr. Mark's perspective on that as well. So we have a very vast array of questions from one spectrum to the other. And I will let you in on a little tidbit that I'm pretty sure that it is 99.9% confirmed that we're doing an Ask the Doc segment for the summit. So,
yes, we
so that has just come across the board. So exciting. So there's a whole nother reason to get your ticket for the summit. And we'll pick Dr. Mark's brain even further for that. So I'm going to start off with something that is complex, but yet it's so simple. The first question came from a lady who's been wearing the socks for 2 years. She says religiously, as close to 24/7 as possible for the last 2 years. She says, so why after 2 years of continued wear will my plantar fasciitis randomly flare up?
All right. Well, first of all, thanks again for having me here, and Happy New Year to everybody. Right out of the gate, we have to remind people that we're not talking and answering questions relating to specific conditions, because we can't say that nobody should have ever told you that if you put a Harmony patch on, your plantar fasciitis is going to go away. Being a chiropractor and specializing in that condition, I will address it, but not from a Vox perspective, but more of it's a structural function thing. And so as you walk, your gait, your foot needs to articulate and joints need to move for specific ones through the course of that gait. The heel strikes first, then the arch gives in, then ball off and toe off. So most commonly problem is people twist their ankle at some point in their life and it causes that mid part of the gait to lock up, and it's just a structure function thing. Okay. And so every time you get to the mid part of your gait, if it doesn't move the way it's supposed to, something's got to give. So the tendons and the muscles and the ligaments really start yanking from the ball of the foot because there's no slack in there. And so it's a condition that people start to get bone spurs on the ball of their foot because the spurs are trying to grab the tendon from ripping off the bone. But it's 100% structure function thing. So if the foot doesn't function right, it's going to adapt. And the way it adapts is people start getting pain in the ball of the foot where the soft tissue tries to tear off because of the weight of your body pulling on that area the way it shouldn't. And so there's no patch you're going to put on that's going to make something miraculously start functioning again in your foot. You need to see a chiropractor that specializes in extremities that can help move the foot again and put the joint back into place. And then the soft tissue doesn't have weird tension on it, and then your problem goes away. So now, if I wear the HPT and I get adjusted, I'm certainly going to hold that adjustment longer. And so I'll get better use out of the treatment that I would be getting to try to help that condition. So indirectly, sure, it can help your nervous system respond to any input into the system better. But we always have to remember that when you're addressing a person's question to you about, will this help my XYZ condition? You have to just respond in a way that says, well, if that's a condition relating to your nervous system, maybe not communicating right, then most likely you'll see some improvements because this is going to help your nervous system understand what's going on better to help your own body do the healing. So you always have to give the body the credit for the healing, but this can help the body heal better by freeing the nervous system in the miscommunication that happens when we have different types of problems with our nervous system. So that's a typical answer. If it relates to nervous system, then most likely it's going to help. If it's relating to the blood system, then I'd be thinking Neurovax, as the first one, but I don't want to jump on to other questions. So,
so if we take plantar fasciitis out of that, if we take a specific ailment out of the equation, does it not come back to kind of the elevator theory of where the body prioritizes what it's going to use the technology for?
Well, I don't quite understand the question. So if you're not talking about a condition, like let's say you say you take that out.
We say you have somebody that says, oh, it helped my knee pain and then my knee started hurting after 2 months. Why, the technology is not working for me. You've said in the past, you've used the elevator analogy of the body will prioritize what it needs the technology for the most at a specific time.
Sure. If you get 30% more workers on any work site, the foreman's going to put them to work where he needs them the most immediately. Like, oh my goodness, I have some extra workers here. Let's get this job done first. That's pressing. And so it's important that, we have the knowledge that whenever we give ourselves more, it's always going to go to the area that we need it the most. Correct. However, your initial changes to your knee pain might have been more circulation issue. It might have been something else relating to why you were feeling pain. You might have had a little bit of a neural disconnect to a soft tissue in there that now all of a sudden that energy went in there and healed that. But again, if you're talking about any type of joint pain, you have to think structure function first. And putting a patch on doesn't automatically make things function right structurally. It'll certainly help it stay functioning structurally right if things get put into motion, because again, then it becomes a nervous system thing to understand where is the stability or instability in that joint and how does the muscles counteract that instability to make sure I don't hurt myself again. Okay, and so there is always a neurological component, and Vox is assisting in that neurological component. But Vox doesn't know to go to your knee. You know to go to your knee. So it's giving you the ability to do more healing more efficiently in an easier way than what most people think you have to go through in order to have a breakthrough.
So now we're gonna let you maybe switch gears a little bit. This comes from a customer, I'm guessing, by the way the email was worded. But this person experiences quite frequent migraines, undetermined a bit what triggers them specifically. They think it might be stress or lack of sleep. They've had the socks for 30 days with no relief. Do you have any thoughts on why it's not helping relieve the migraines, or do you have any suggestions for something for them to do or try?
Okay, so first of all, people might not realize that we were designed to always have a migraine, which sounds kind of crazy for me to say that. But our brain is designed to always have that migraine. And then we have an inhibition nerve from the neck to the brain to inhibit it from happening. But we actually have 5 nerves from each side of the neck. So there's C1 through C5 are all innervating the brain to tell it you don't need to have that headache. So when you have a neck injury or a neck problem or either a fast one or a chronic one over time, and those nerves that communicate to the brain from the neck are compromised, the side effect could be headache. Okay, and so then the headache hits and it releases chemicals that cause inflammation, that cause pain, which releases more of the same chemicals that cause more inflammation and more pain. And it's this vicious loop that they get caught in. Now, as a chiropractor, again, we have to restore the function to the nerves of the neck and the damage in that area. So the inhibition comes back to the brain. But that's usually not enough in a lot of cases because the pattern is still now learned in the brain, and then it becomes a repeatable pattern. And so we look into neurofeedback to help with that. And people can do aggressive neurofeedback over a short period of time and help grow tissue in those disconnects to finally get past the migraines. And I've had hundreds of patients over the years that we've been able to successfully do that with. And so when we relate this back to Vox, well, Vox is a form of neurofeedback. Now, that's saying, okay, God, I prayed for my healing to happen this month, and why didn't it happen this month? Okay, well, you obviously had other healing that needed to happen before whatever it is you were praying for to happen. And so just because you're having a migraine, again, there's so many complications that can cause migraines as well. So there's a lot of different allergies, there's stress related, there's chemical relations to things that you get into an environment that you breathe certain things in. So I can't just say that it's the same reason for everybody, but there are principles at play here. And the principles are the things that I've already described, how our brain was designed to have that as a protective mechanism, and we inhibit that. So again, neuroplasticity is happening with the socks, but who knows how long it would take to grow the tissue, enough tissue in these areas to help reset the pattern. And it might be that you need to seek out some other therapies along with your Vox to facilitate the responses quicker than later. But again, you can't judge your body for what it's telling you that it needs to fix first. Just because your conscious thoughts feel something and think that that's most important, remember, that's the part of the brain that's only processing 2,000 bits of data a second. The rest of your brain that keeps you alive and repairs cells and replaces cells and regulates all the fluids and everything else, it's processing over 400 million bits of data per second. And the chemistry in your body is processing over 65 quadrillion new chemical reactions every second. So trust me when I say 30% more in change in your neurology is changing a lot of things, whether you think it is or not. What you're comparing it to is the limited part of your brain that's just conscious thinking. And I'm feeling this pain and I can't move this way, or I'm not doing this. Yes, because we are dealing with brainstem and that's the primitive part of the brain, we see major changes in those categories for a lot of people. But again, this technique is just, or this technology is only designed to open up the front door to your neurology and allow your brain to communicate to your body more efficiently, more profoundly, and finally give you enough energy to heal the part of the body that you haven't been able to get past. And so this takes time. Okay, it may take years of wearing it before you see that change that you're looking for. That's why I'm saying, don't sit around and wait on the technology. We use the technology to make us a better person. And then we seek out everything in our lifestyle and in our life that we can improve on and be better. Because inevitably, you have 100 trillion cells that have a very limited lifetime. And those cells are going to replace themselves, some of them sooner than others. Your eyes only take 2 days. Your bones take almost a year, a little over 11 months. So depending on when that new cell is going to come around, believe me when I say you want the best neurology communicating with that cell to make sure that the next version of you is a better functioning cell than the one right now. And this is a technology that I will leave on my body for the rest of my life, because I know, in fact, it's doing that. It's giving me that extra ability. It's a constant backstage pass to every event I go through, where I can see more and experience more. Okay.
Yeah, and so, I think Dr. Mark, the interesting thing is too, and well put, because we have seen over the last 4.5, 5 years, people's neurology is compromised in different ways. Now, the symptom of a migraine or the effect of a migraine, we see if you type in migraine into the search bar, into the testimonials group, some people have results faster than others, depending on, what the, central nervous system allows the brain to focus on first. So again, having our technology on and opening up that front door is going to allow every other modality that you're doing, every other, treatment that you're doing, in effect, to allow the body to uptake that treatment faster and better. Is that, on point?
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, great.
And that's why it works so well with so many practitioners and every type of practitioner, because they all have a different scope of practice in which they're trying to help people. And the greatest prayer ever answered is, help my patients get better faster, right? Yeah. And so when we find something that we can literally help them for a couple bucks a day or cheaper, get better faster and stay well, that is an absolute gift.
Right.
Wow. So much in that one little question there. That's incredible. This comes from an associate who is dealing with quite a number of young teen girls who have had adverse reactions to vaccines in the form of anything from seizures, loss of appetite, loss of energy, loss of mobility, brain fog, just to start naming a few. He let on what he has suggested, but wanted to hear from you what you would suggest for these teen girls. What would be the ultimate protocol?
Well, this is a very controversial subject.
You're welcome.
I'm going to tread lightly on the subject. If you would like to give me to give you my personal opinion on the subject, I could do that as well too. So several years ago, Jay and I were talking about vaccines and what we can do to help the people that, despite all the knowledge they get about whether to do or not do, they still choose to get the vaccine. How can we help those people? Because a lot of them are just, they have different reasons for doing it. Let's just say it that way. And so that was the birth of the NeuroVax technology. And he said that he'd been thinking about that for a long time. And that was something that really is super important to do. And so, and the other side of that on the vaccines was the chemotherapy. Similar topic. It's a very controversial topic. Some people are 100% against, some people are 100% for. Everybody still dies eventually, right? So it's just a matter of, you have to make your own choice when it comes to what you're putting into your body, and you have to weigh pros and consequences. And that's all I say. Just don't ever do something uninformed. Don't just do it because the masses are doing it or because it's the popular thing to do. You know, if you question anything, be informed and get all the pros and the cons and the reasons why we do it, the reasons why we wouldn't want to do it. And then maybe alter the schedule of how many you're doing at a time or which ones you're even going to do. There's only been a few vaccines, and a few meaning like 3 or 4 in the world, that have been proven to completely neutralize all of the virus or all of the infection. And so the rest of them try to, but don't completely neutralize it. So really, what do you know, again, it goes back to being informed. And so if I was one of those people that was going to choose to get a vaccine, I most certainly would have HPT on 100% all the time anyway, but for sure, and the NeuroVax, because the NeuroVax patch was designed to help your nervous system respond faster and more efficiently to any threat that's coming in. And so we're exposed to threats all the time. Every breath you breathe in, you're breathing in heavy metals that are not good for you. but we can't stop breathing. So we're kind of stuck in a situation that, again, where do we put ourselves? What environments do we put ourselves in? How much toxins are we exposed to? But our body's really good at eliminating toxins too. And again, these are functionings of the nervous system. And so when we're wearing something that opens up the front door to our brain, and then the second patch is targeting broadband area 24 and 25, which is the gut-brain connection, plus your spleen and your thymus. And so this is helping you have an immediate immune response and neurological interaction to whatever it is that you're exposed to. And so the faster that you can respond to a threat, the faster you can neutralize, deposit those areas into somewhere that's not going to run havoc and cause havoc throughout your body. And then it's going to bring in fluids to dilute this, the whatever it is, the solution to pollution is dilution. And then it's going to use that same fluid to flush those toxins or whatever it is out of your body. Okay, so our body's very equipped and very efficient in eliminating the things that we are exposed to, despite we wanted to be exposed to or not. And so again, your health going into something is critical on how well that thing's going to affect you or how much it's going to hurt you. And so I would say do everything you can to be as healthy as possible before you go in for a shot. Have the Neurovax and the HPT on you so that your body can deal with it right away. And then keep your immune system strong. Do lots of nutrients and vitamin C and magnesium and vitamin D and things that are going to help boost that immune system so that you can properly get that junk back out of your body after it's had a chance to do what it was supposed to do or what you thought it was supposed to do for the reason why you did it. So I don't know if that was a politically correct answer or not, but
I think it was fabulous. So what about if they've already had the vaccines and they have these adverse reactions? HPT and Neurovax, start with one and build from there.
No, I would do them both. I would do them both right out of the gate for any new person that's first coming in. Especially if it's anybody that has any type of chronic condition or acute condition, that Neurovax is so critical. So here's another perfect example. It's kind of a little side note, but I tore ligaments in my thumb over the holiday skiing, and I have to have some reconstructive surgery tomorrow morning, unfortunately. But for the last 2 weeks, my thumb was throbbing. The first 4 days, it was pretty bad. And I got home from our vacation up in the mountains and immediately put the Neurovax on because I had run out when I was up there. And within 20 minutes, it stopped throbbing and stopped hurting. Now I know it's not a pain patch, but it's a blood thing. And my blood was trying so hard to stop the internal bleeding, all the ripping and tearing of the tendons and everything else that was going on. And now it's been 2 weeks since the injury. And if I take this Neurovax patch off me for 15 minutes, my thumb starts searing pain and throbbing again. So again, I had HPT on the whole time because that's never come off me. But that Neurovax, this was just an injury that was my thumb. Like, how is Neurovax having to do with my thumb? But it's an immune response to an injury. Okay, and so immediately it did whatever it needs to do to help the blood function better, get new nutrients in there, pull waste out of there, help the inflammation go down, help do whatever it was supposed to do. So back to the original question, remind me, Angela, was it still the vaccine thing, or are we on?
If they've already had vaccinations and have all these adverse effects from those, the ultimate protocol.
I would be doing the HPT immediately because you got to get your nervous system to understand what's going on better. And as soon as you put that HPT on, your nervous system does like a whole scan of your body to look for weaknesses. And so sometimes people have an old injury they start to feel only because your nervous system is being scanned for weaknesses and have found an area that wants to do a little bit of healing. So whether it was an old injury or whether it was an old vaccine or whether it was an old chemical that is running some havoc in your body, you know, people that have gotten chemotherapy, it takes an average of 7 years to detox from chemo. you'll get it released from one organ that it's settled in. It'll go, before it gets out of the body, it runs and jumps into something else. And so it's very difficult to detox your body. So again, back to the beginning of the question, any chronic condition, any old condition, any type of person that has a symptom that they've been dealing with for a long time, it's not just HPT, it's Neurovax too, because you need the blood is in, life is in the blood. And that blood has to get into those areas and help bring nutrients and help heal and get the white blood cell activity active and free to run. You know, we see so many people's blood that's just so congested and condensed that the white blood cells are kind of backed into a corner. They don't really have freedom to go find and destroy and to clean up. And we see in live blood analysis within the first hour, usually, of people with that Neurovax patch on, we see the blood open up, spread out. We see the garbage collectors going in there and starting to eat and emulsify things that aren't just supposed to be in there. So that can relate back to any condition at any time. Okay, your immune system has way more knowledge and smarter than we are, than our own conscious mind. So we just have to give it the tools to run and go do what it's best at doing. And we have technology now that helps get the disruption out of these areas of our body that continue to be a chronic problem for so many people.
And I know, Dr. Mark, we spoke before too, you know, with regards to EMF, regarding technology, and oftentimes you've referred to, as we all agree, is that life is in the blood, and oxygenation in the blood is so important to properly oxygenate your blood. And we know that, you know, we're in a world of computers and cell phones and 5G and so on. So EMF, electromagnetic frequencies, are just running rampant, and we don't feel that or see that radiation, but we do know for a fact that it does cause Rouleau. And with Rouleau and clumping of blood, it's very difficult to have the blood cells oxygenate properly. And with the dark field images that you have done in the past, it's astounding what we see about, you know, eliminating that stacking, that Rouleau effect, to allow the blood to oxygenate better. And I mean, it just makes logical sense that if your blood is oxygenating better, it's going to perform better. And let's talk about the Rouleau effect and what that does a little bit with regards to blood oxygenation.
Okay, hopefully you can hear my voice okay. He got kind of gargly at the end there.
Oh, sorry.
So I've done a lot of blood testing on patients just to find different issues on how healthy is your blood. We're not trying to diagnose conditions or such, but we want to see, are we dealing with good, healthy, quality, functioning blood, or do we have to deal with that first? And so we have tested with blood as well different EMF protection devices that you can put on your phones and your tools and things. And it's astonishing how you can just put a phone up to your head for 2 minutes on a phone call, and I can take your blood and it looks terrible. It's like, how are you still functioning, and how can we live like this? Because we're in a world of electronics. I mean, how do we live with Rouleaus all the time? You know, and it's like, it's amazing that we still do, but it doesn't mean we're living great, okay, or optimally. And so we really figured out the Neurovax thing with the EMF by accident, because Jay had mentioned something about it, but I didn't understand the science of how it can protect us from that. Because I understand the science of different devices that we use to protect us, but not the Neurovax patch. But what we had found is everybody that we were testing, we would draw the blood and do a brain map. We'd wait an hour, we'd draw the blood again and do a brain map. And then we wait 12 hours and do it again. Then at 24 hours, we do it. And everybody's baseline was always a mess, you know, pretty much on everybody. Not always Rouleaus, but always a lot of dysfunction. And so for the hour that they'd be waiting, they'd be sitting in the lobby and hanging out on their phone or their iPad. So they're sitting there working on electricity, on electronics for the whole hour. And then I come back in and everything's clear. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Shouldn't it have not cleared yet because you were still working with your laptop that was not mediated? You didn't have any kind of protection device on there. So I don't really know how to answer it scientifically, other than the chaos coming into your body is being recognized and dealt with faster than running around havoc. And so the major damage with the EMF stuff is it's allowing too much calcium inside your cells, which is producing a super free radical that is not good for you whatsoever. And nobody's really immune to it. So it's happening to our anatomy at an extraordinary rate. And then the 5G just compounds it exponentially. It's so much worse, I mean, as far as how it's affecting our body. So I feel very confident, not only knowing that my blood's remaining clear and functioning optimally while the tech is on me, but I'm also safer around all my electronics and so forth, because it's not causing the havoc that they normally would cause.
Perfect.
Perfect.
We're gonna switch gears a little bit. I have somebody that emailed in asking, because this happened with one of their customers, can wearing HPT, socks, insoles, Harmony patches, mask serious health issues? My customer was at the doctor and a serious ear infection was discovered, but the customer had no pain.
I would say no. Okay, and so it's not masking anything. It's helping the body heal what was going on in that infection in the ear. And it helped it so much that the symptoms started to go away, or never even came, before it got to that point. So I don't like the line of thinking with that, in that, oh my goodness, I don't want to do something healthy for me because it might take away from something that I'm dependent on. Or something like that. So don't think for an instant that it's masking anything. Okay, that's what medication does. And the meaning of masking something, I'll give you a for instance. When we do a brain map with somebody that has anxiety, I can tell in 2 seconds by looking at the brain map exactly how bad you have anxiety. Okay, it's not something that you can hide. It's a network in the brain, and it functions a certain way or it doesn't. And if it doesn't function the way it's supposed to, you have symptoms of anxiety. Now, if you're on anxiety medication, you would sit there and tell me, well, I don't have any anxiety. I feel fine, but I take something for it. Okay, you can take a medication that makes you the symptom go away, but under the hood, you still have your foot on the gas and the brake at the same time. And that's not a good scenario for longevity or for the outcome of that. That is what masking means. It means that you're covering up the symptom without fixing the underlying cause. In no way, shape, or form is any Vox product ever going to mask anything, because all it's doing is revealing the underlying cause of the disruption, and your body innately deals with that immediately. And guess what? The symptom goes away because of it, but also the cause is gone now. So when I look at a brain map of somebody that has anxiety, and when they wear their socks, they don't have anxiety, I can look at the brain map when they have their socks on, and guess what? Neurologically, they don't have anxiety. So it's not masking anything, it's correcting the underlying symptom, and then they're feeling less pain. So again, the infection thing, there might be more information about that we're not getting and that we don't know. Again, I've had a friend pass away from an ear infection because she flew when she knew she had a bad ear infection, and then her eardrum burst and she died in like a day. So, that's not something to mess around with when you have ear infections. But again, we don't know exactly how long, what the severity it was. Have they done it before? Have they been treated for it? Have they been on medication to try to kill the ear infection? Or, there's obviously probably some parts of that story that we're missing some of the data. But I think the solution or the understanding of it is that we're getting to the root cause by dealing with the neurological issue that your body is unraveling and reprogramming.
Okay. Now, if we thought those questions were kind of detailed, this one takes it to a whole nother level.
I love the fact that I don't get word of any of these questions before the call. So these are all just impromptu.
I wake up in the morning, like this morning, I woke up to 3 new questions. So I got these very last minute as well. But this one, I tried to kind of break down all the information that was sent to me. But it's no secret that more and more in the media, is gaining the attention is coming forward regarding the link between concussions and dementia. We have seen from testimonials and studies the concussion repair that takes place over long-term use of HPT. The first part of the question is there anything from your studies from concussions that is relevant to the concussion dementia link?
So, well, to answer that question, I've never linked the two in my studies. Okay, just to be straight up. We've looked at a lot of dementia stuff. We've looked at a lot of concussion stuff. Vox has helped both ends of those spectrum. But I don't have necessarily dementia patients that have just recently had concussions, typically, that I've brain mapped to put into some kind of further study about that. So, and again, concussion and dementia, they're two completely different different conditions. A concussion is what happens when you hit your head. So a lot of times you could have dementia patients that fall and hit their head, and now we have a dementia and a concussion issue going on. And so really with dementia and so forth, we're thinking of, you know, delta theta brain waves. These are our slow brain waves, and these are like the neural net that holds up the brain. And everything else is built on that. So when we look at a brain map and see dominant frequency of delta theta that's all blue, that concerns us as physicians, because this is putting you at like a strike one against you in the dementia, Parkinson's, ALS, Alzheimer's. All of those neurological degenerative diseases all start by your delta theta losing integrity. And that's just above the brain stem. And this is, again, the part of the brain that Vox does on 99.9% of the people. It positively impacts that part of the brain. So we can, with Dr. Thatcher's study proving that and illustrating that exact part of the brain, reading between the lines is if you wear this technology ongoing over a long period of time, you're much less likely to experience the dementia and the so forth as you would have earlier without our tech. Now, again, that's an opinion of mine, but it's based on 7,000 brain maps and a lot of empirical data to see how we can reverse people slipping into those conditions. Now, a concussion on the other side of the story, this is when you hit your head. Now, your brain is made up of two different types of tissue, as you've seen in all the other videos we've done. Gray matter, which is your conscious thoughts, and then your white matter, which is your unconscious, subconscious thoughts, okay? And so the gray matter processes about 2,000 bits of data per second. The white matter below the surface is over 400 million bits of data per second. So a lot is going on there. Now, those two types of tissues are connected by billions of little tiny fibers, these little hairs that share information between the two different types of tissue. Now, if I took a golf ball and a grape and teed them up right next to each other, and with my driver, I hit them both at the same time, clearly the golf ball is going to go a lot further than the grape. And so what happens is if I get hit here in the front of my head, the exact opposite back of my head is where my brain bounces off of. And when it comes back to the point of initial contact, it's going to come back to that point at two different speeds. And so all of those nerves that are connecting those two different types of tissues, one of three things happens to them. Either it stretches and comes back and it still functions fine, thank God. Or they twist and turn off and now they're not functioning or communicating anymore. Or they're stretched so far that they get severed. And so when we do a concussion index on a map report, we can identify how severe the injury was. There's grades of concussion to determine how fast I can get back on the field if I was an athlete. And then we can also determine which networks in the brain were most affected by that trauma. So that's a completely different topic than an Alzheimer's or dementia or part of the brain that starts to slowly degenerate versus a trauma. So I'm not really exactly sure how to map the correlation between the two, other than if I already had dementia and had a concussion, I'd probably experience more trauma with that concussion than I would have if my brain and my neurology was healthier and firing and communicating better. And so I think That would be the correlation that I would relate the two to, is how much damage would happen if you already had one of those issues. Or if you've already had concussions, how much quicker the dementia or the Alzheimer's could come on because of that dysregulation in the brain already. So again, two different complete issues that people deal with. And it's really unfortunate if the same person is dealing with both of those at the same time.
Okay. So then the second part of that question was, from a compliance standpoint, what do you feel we are able to say on this issue?
You know, it goes back to anything. We can't say we're treating a concussion. We can't say we treat any condition. It's, if people suffer from a concussion, that is a neurological insult to your nervous system. That is a trauma or an injury to your nervous system. So the only thing that's going to heal your nervous system is you and your nervous system. And so by us giving you something that's just going to help that communication happen faster and more efficiently, it only makes sense that you will get better faster and then stay well longer. So a compliancy, you can't say I'm treating anything. You're treating the human condition. I'm treating being human, and I want to be a better human, okay? And so we're helping our neurology function better. And with that, your innate intelligence takes all the credit for healing it, okay? Because this little piece of plastic with a design on it can't actually heal you. Only you can heal you. This is just the janitor's key that opens up any door in the building for you to make sure I can get everything healed. Okay, or my whole 5 pieces of Vox technology, it's my janitor's ring. I got everything covered. I can access all parts of my body in those areas that I need certain types of healing to happen.
So there was another person that actually emailed in on the dementia Alzheimer's topic as well. This seems to be a really hot topic at the moment. I know a lot because it's in the news, in the media. This one I tried to break down as best as I could. Since brain mapping can narrow down specific regions responsible for Alzheimer's, can HPT and targeted treatments create positive changes in those areas?
100%. Absolutely.
Okay.
So HPT by itself, no, but if you're going to do neurofeedback with HPT, the neurofeedback targets in the areas we want to suggest tissue growth in. And then the HPT just allows it to get further in the same amount of time. Okay. And I've proven that thousands of times over with brain maps, patients that do HPT, why they train, and patients that don't. And that's easy to prove. And so again, the technology doesn't know where to go, but when my nervous system's functioning, say at 30% more efficiency, and I'm targeting these areas to grow tissue growth, I'm going to get more tissue growth there. I'm going to get more change in the area. I mean, you can do this with anything with this technology. I mean, just pick up a dumbbell and go until you can't move your arm anymore, slap a patch on, and guess what? You got about 5 or 6 more in you, and it's going to come out of nowhere. Okay, it's amazing. Whatever it is that you're trying to focus on and do, if you can do anything to enhance your neurology, you're going to do it a little bit better. I mean, that's just a principle of life.
Cool. We like those answers. There was a question in the comments a bit ago about the thymus diminishing as we age. Can Neurovax help this?
I mean, Neurovax has been around for a year. There's no way we could answer that question. We're not testing the function of the thymus. We're just testing the whole immune system and how it interacts with the things that we're infected with or come in contact with and so forth. So I would assume not just your thymus, but I would assume that every organ in your body is going to last a little bit longer before it eventually gives out, if it's got better neurological control and better blood flow. So again, that's a 2-part question, because that means you can't just focus for thymus on just your immune system. I mean, just the nervous system. You got to think of immune system too. So you got to think blood flow and nerves when we're talking about immunity.
Okay. The last question that I have on the list, there's a lot of people having some issues. And so I want your kind of take on this. We know that the peripheral nervous system is extremely sensitive. And do we have any options, or do you have any suggestions for people that are just really having a hard time with some reactions to the adhesive on the patches?
Well, it's only a small percentage of people that have reactions. And unfortunately, if you're one of those, it's 100% of you. And so there's really no other way around it. You have to stick it on you to work. And so I would just say you're gonna have to hang in there longer till we can get these products into socks and into other wearable products. You know, so as Vox continues to grow and as we continue to share these amazing products with everybody else, the company gets bigger. And as the company gets bigger, we create more products. Okay. And so, I mean, think of just a few years ago when Vox was just insoles. And then all of a sudden we had socks. And then all of a sudden we had 5 different kinds of socks. And then all of a sudden we had patches. And it's like, we've had knee braces. And, you know, there's just been so many cool things in the shapewear and everything. So, we really need to, and again, this is me just talking out loud, but it would be really neat to have a pair of socks that had multiple technologies in the one pair of sock, you know, or however that's going to look as we get further down the road here. Maybe, you know, clothing like just a shirt or jackets, or, you know, there could be things that Jay's got his mind wrapped around that he hasn't even shared with us yet. But you know, it just takes money. So as the company grows, he continues to reinvest to help us be able to share easily, be able to give people more options so that they will be compliant and keep the product on them. I love the fact that the patches are going to get smaller now. That's going to be a big thing that will help some people be able to keep it on more. And as we find better adhesive and things that are more hypoallergenic, I think every rendition of the patch that we've gone to has had less reactions from people that have skin reactions. So he's always trying to upgrade to get the next best, safest, healthiest material that we could use. But for now, we just have to use what we have.
Personally, I'm gonna speak to the reaction to the patch a bit, just from my own personal experience. Okay. You know, we know that, you know, wearing the patches in the positions that they're prescribed to be in for the first 48 hours is key. And then we know that the patches can be moved around and the brain will recognize and elicit the same response over different parts of the body. I had, you know, had some slight reactions, nothing serious, not, you know, hives or anything like that, but I've had, you know, some redness and some whatever around the patches, but it's always been correlated to how terrible I eat. So if I'm eating, you know, we all have had that junk craving, whether it's pizza or whatever it happens to be, but it always seems that, you know, if I've eaten, you know, too much sugar or sweets, or, you know, something that's not good, like a fast food hamburger or something like that, that I tend to get a reaction. But when I'm eating healthy and I'm eating clean, which is, you know, 95% of the time, I have no adverse reaction at all to the adhesive. Now, I don't know if there's any correlation, but the reaction has never been painful. It's never been sore. I've had a little bit of itchiness or whatever, but it's not unbearable by any means. And I move the patch around. You know, I'll move it in different areas on my arm. I'll wear it on my shoulder. I'll wear it on my hips. And so if anybody's listening to this and you're having that, I totally agree that, you know, it may be related to, you know, what you're eating, possibly. But if you can stick it out, my experience has been that it doesn't last long. I'm not saying that's always the case, but in my experience, it's usually been related to, you know, how bad I eat. And so I'm just strongly urging people that if you're having a little bit of a reaction and it's not painful, I don't think it's anything to worry about, at least from my perspective and my personal experience.
That's a good point, Terry, that diet could have a lot to do with it. The skin is the largest organ of detoxification. So they could be just detoxing through the area that the patch came on, versus having a reaction to the glue. That could be another issue that would leave more of like a rash that stays for days, or a blister effect. Could be an allergic reaction to the glue itself. But I like that. That's something I didn't consider in my initial answer.
Yeah, I think that helps. So I think, do we see any more questions in the feed, Ange?
There was an interesting one. I gotta find it again. Where did it go? I just had it. Someone that bloats when they eat wheat, and now they're having the same reaction when they wear the patches. The Neurovax and Meta patch. Been wearing the patches and socks for 3 months.
So they've been wearing Neurovax for 3 months, and it makes them feel inflamed the whole time. For 3 months, they've been having that.
They say they bloat.
So they stay bloated for 3 months straight.
That's just all it said.
Again, I think we need a little bit more information from that person.
So Julie, if you—
because gluten is definitely a reaction to the body. The body would create a reaction to gluten if you have an allergy, or if you have gluten intolerance, or if you have celiac disease. I would think that wearing the patch, you'd have a little bit more leniency with less of a reaction for one of those conditions, just because your blood's responding faster to the threat of the gluten or what have you. There could be underlying gut issues for this person, that they need to do a cleanse or a detox of something a little bit more aggressively. So typically you have 7 lines of detoxing. Okay, you have your liver, your gallbladder, your kidneys, your lungs, then your skin. Okay, outside of lymphatic and everything else. But and those are the order in which they get toxic. So liver first, and then gallbladder, then kidneys, then lungs, then skin. So if somebody's got a lot of skin issues, most likely they already have issues with their lungs and their kidneys and their liver and their gallbladder as well. And it's just kind of one fills up and then it spills over into the next. And when that fills up, it spills over into the next. So people that are having skin reactions too, we talked about detoxing. Do they have any lung or breathing issues or liver issues or kidney issues also? Because those are some things that we would need to know. Are you really toxic that now the patch is spilling the toxins out, or is this just a reaction to the glue? Like back to that previous question again too. So I don't know why somebody would stay bloated otherwise, unless they're just trying to eliminate toxins. Your body's solution to pollution is dilution. So it's going to bloat you to try to flush that toxins out. And if it doesn't get all the toxins out, you're going to keep being bloated until you can get detox. So that's why I'm saying there's got to be some other underlying issue. I've never heard of that reaction in the 4 years I've been working with Vox. I've never heard of somebody that stays bloated with the patch on. So if that person wants to contact me and give me more information, I can go a little bit deeper with them.
Sounds perfect.
Great. Well, thank you. Another awesome call, Dr. Mark. And sorry to hear about your injury. And we know you'll be patched up and wearing the technology for your surgery. And we're also grateful to have you on this call. And again, as we say, we are asking questions to Dr. Mark. A lot of times, these, as he said, we're not here to treat, diagnose, or cure anything with regards to our technology. So please, those of you, don't make any claims that we don't have studies for as well. And if we didn't get to one of your questions on the feed, please email Angela Corn at Brain4Balance, which is in the feed. She wrote it in there. And Doc, I promise we'll try and do a better job of getting some of these questions to you prior to as well. And I can assure you we will do that prior to the event, because this is going to be an exciting topic and an exciting training session in the Ignite Summit 2021.
Awesome.
So we're really looking forward to that. If you haven't got your ticket, Reminder tonight as well, everybody, at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, we have our Real People, Real Results call. We will also be going live in the testimonials group here as well. So invite your guests, your prospects, your friends, your mother, your grandma, your kids, whatever, get them on this call and hear real results from real people, as this call is hosted by Krista Taylor and Paul Austin. So again, on behalf of everyone here, Dr. Mark, we appreciate you so much. Angela, thank you for co-hosting today, and all of you out there that took the time out of your day to spend some time with us on the call. We sure appreciate you as well. So Godspeed, everyone. Continue to share this technology, and let's all continue to work together to get to 1 billion people and beyond. So thank you all very much. You can unmute yourselves and say goodbye if you like.
I know.
Bye, and thank you.
Bye. Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.